Hello, and welcome to the Ganru Show. I'm Golda.
And I'm Wanru.
And this is a podcast that's just like hanging out with your two best girlfriends. In today's episode, we'll be talking about the complicated world of friendships.
It's like being the last person to fall asleep at a slumber party.
Ooh, no bra in the freezer for you.
Brr.
It's like going on a road trip with your best friends and you don't have to drive.
It's like being best friends with Oprah and then she makes you the editor of her magazine.
Ah, to be Gayle.
I know, lucky biatch.
Duck it.
In this episode, you will find out why Golda was once caught gallivanting and dancing and prancing around the UCLA campus.
And you'll also find out why Wanru was a chimpanzee in a very recent life. Not a past life, as recent as yesterday.
I'm not embarrassed by that.
I'm not embarrassed for you. I revel in the story.
So
let's get started. First up is a segment we like to call Girl, What You Been Up To? So this is where Wanru and I catch up with each other and find out what we've been up to this week. So, girl, Wanru, what you been up to this week?
I have a doozy for you.
Oh, okay.
I've been feeling up a former cruiserweight boxer.
What?
Just let that sink in.
What? Tell me more.
Okay,
what does that mean?
I'm hyping it up. It sounds better than it actually was.
Okay.
So basically, me and my two girlfriends, Bella and Carol.
Okay,
you know them.
Yep.
We went out for drinks and to have a bite to eat, as is sometimes we like to do. Mm-hmm. We were catching up and having a good time. And as we were leaving the restaurant, there was a large group of men just hanging out at the bar.
Okay.
Now, I normally don't like to approach large groups of men and just begin talking to them. But
it's like walking up to a large group of, like in the animal kingdom, like water buffalo.
Right.
And you're a gazelle.
I think I would be a hyena.
A hyena.
Whoa. Did I just call the men the water buffalo and I'm the hyena?
I think so. I call them the water buffalo.
Right.
So anyway, you went up to this group of men or you saw them?
I saw them.
Okay.
And just like a hyena would, actually the analogy holds, I kind of like walked around the periphery of them.
Yeah.
And I have no intention on dating any of these men because they are not my type. I know that sounds weird.
Well, what kind of type were they?
Big, burly, Caucasian men.
Big, burly, were they like, big, burly Caucasian men. Okay.
Okay. Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Why do you seem puzzled?
No. I mean, so you wouldn't normally go up to big, burly Caucasian men.
Correct. Yes. Now, if it was a pack of early 40s Asian men, slightly effeminate, and perhaps
maybe a little androgynous,
Silicon Valley types with soft voices and softer hands. I would be the hyena.
You're all over it.
Dude, they're the gazelles.
You're buying around.
And I'm like the lioness. I would just plunge in and start making waves. Yeah.
I think this is a documentary in the making. I would watch this documentary. Okay. So they were a big burly Caucasian men,
which is not my type, but I thought that perhaps my girlfriend would like to. I won't say who. One of my girlfriends would be, but it could be her type. Okay. So I was trying to wing woman it. Okay.
Okay.
So I have a friend who's British and a friend who's Irish, and I detected that they had British accents. So as I walked by, I was listening, and I said, "You know what, ladies? I'm gonna go back in there and strike up a conversation with them." Mm-hmm. Again, trying to wing woman it, right?
Okay.
So that's what I did, and I went back and I go, "Pardon me, Sergeant Trude. Do I detect an accent?" And sure enough, they were English. They were really hilarious. They were sociable.
And what did they say?
I'm actually from Norway, and I'm Swedish.
They have the same accent.
Yeah, and I was like, whoa. And they confused me. They threw me off. And then finally one of them goes, no, we're all from Birmingham. And I was like, you guys.
They're busting your chops.
I'm busting my chops. English style.
Okay.
Anyways, and then they were there to watch a boxing match, and they were hanging out with former professional cruiserweight boxer, BJ Flores.
Oh, okay.
He introduced himself. He was very sociable. You can look him up on Instagram. BJ, Benjamin Flores, Flores.
And I'm not familiar with this gentleman. And you said they were from a what? MFA? What? No, that's a Master of Fine Arts. What was this? MMA
Oh my God, Golda is
totally different.
Far removed from. See,
I'm going back to the androgynous Asian men with with soft hands. Okay, so
oh God,
so they were from what industry again?
Okay, the British men were there to watch a boxing match.
Okay, yeah,
and they were hanging out at a bar very close to the stadium. And all the boxers and everyone related, like the promoters or whatever, were all staying in that complex.
Okay.
And so BJ Flores is a commentator and former heavyweight or / cruiserweight. I don't know. I'm just quoting what he says, okay?
Cruiserweight.
Yeah.
What is cruiserweight?
Just right below heavyweight. It's like 220 and under or something, 215 and under.
And how tall are they?
BJ was 6'2".
Oh, that's a big guy.
That's a big guy. So that's kind of how we struck up a conversation.
I see.
So the moral of the story is if you're open to talking to people, you find out interesting things. So, they're all hanging out. So basically these English guys who came to watch the fight and BJ, who was a professional fighter and commentator, and they're all being sociable. And one of them said, hey, you might want to take a picture with him.
Oh,
because he's a fighter. I go, guys, my accent's getting worse anyways.
Sounds good to me.
And then he turned around and he's this big hulk of a man, like what I imagined Dwayne the Rock Johnson would look like. And I said, oh, pardon me, are you the former boxer? He's like, how could you tell? And I said, well, because of your physique. And he's like, I'm so fat. You mean the fat guy over there? Is that why you wanted to talk to me? And then, he was just like very self-deprecatory and he was very nice.
Yeah.
Deprecating.
Yeah. He's self-defecating.
No, he was not.
Different.
He was not. I would never.
Self-deprecating.
No,
deprecating. Got it.
BJ looked really nice and tidy. Not self-defecating. but I think I just said self-deprecatory.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hashtag.
Anyway.
Webster's Merriam.
Okay, so you chat, whatever, blah blah blah, and then he mentioned he was out of shape, and I said I don't think you are, and then one thing leads to another, and he goes, "Do you want to touch my muscles? Go ahead."
Oh boy, that's okay. He said that to you. Where were your other two friends?
They were right next to the other British guys, and they were all chatting.
Got it.
But I just happened to be closest to BJ.
Okay, so he's asked you if you wanted to touch his muscles. What was the segue to that? Okay. Was it, nice weather we're having. Can't believe we don't get any rain for 5 weeks. You see these Himalayas right here? You want to touch it?
Himalayas.
Or whatever. I don't know.
Look at Mount Everest right here. Okay, it was more natural than that.
What did you say when he said, you want to touch my muscles?
I was like...
And then you touched his brain. That would have been awesome.
His head?
Yeah.
No.
Ooh, might need a little work there, buddy.
I
don't know. I have no idea. I don't know this person. I'm just making a lot of assumptions.
Right. Actually, he was very self-deprecating. Yes. And he had a good personality, which is I could believe he was a commentator.
Okay.
So before he could even get the words out of his mouth, I had already grabbed his arm.
Oh my gosh. Did you hang from it like a little baby monkey?
I wish I could. Oh no.
Just kind of put your legs on top, hanging from it.
Like a koala bear hugs its mom. Yeah. Just tree trunk him.
Where's that Instagram post?
I know, I didn't get a photo. We were so stupid. Me, Carol, and Bella were just kicking ourselves afterwards for not taking a picture with BJ.
Oh.
Because everyone kept saying, like, that guy is somebody.
Well, you were enjoying the moment as it was happening. So kudos to you.
I was enjoying the arm as it was happening.
So you before he finished the sentence, you grabbed his arm and started swinging from his arm like a baby chimpanzee.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay.
How was it? How was the experience?
Life-changing.
How so? How so?
Okay, so first of all, let me just...
Goodbye, gentle hand, androgynous Asian men. Wanru's made the leap to the other side.
I've swung from one weak branch to a burly, hurly branch which can bear my weight. No, basically, he was talking about how he's out of shape. And I said, oh, no, I can tell you're definitely an athlete. And I said, just look at the size of your hands. Because his hands,
Banana hands? Like Tony Robbins?
I mean, it's like banana hands, but it's really wide. So it's like a coconut hand. I mean, it looks very...
He had wide hands?
Yeah, because that's what you use to like smash someone in the face.
Sure.
And he said, oh yeah, my hands and
Interesting.
my arms.
Okay.
And my muscles.
Uh-huh.
And he made a muscle, he flexed his bicep.
Man, this is like a bad sitcom from like the 70s.
Come and knock on our door. Wanna feel my arm too.
Yeah, like the
okay. Yeah. Okay, anyways, so then you can touch it if you want. He was very casual about it. And I was like, rawr!
Yeah.
I just latched on and I grabbed it. And here's the thing, all right? I'm not trying to sleep with this person. For you gentle viewers at home, I am not trying to, but there's nothing wrong with trying to sleep with a professional athlete. I was just purely curious because I have never seen a professional athlete up close.
Oh.
And oh my God, they're like a different species.
Yeah.
Okay, so his arm.
This was for anthropological purposes.
100%.
That you were grabbing his muscles.
Yeah, me and Jane Goodall, we're like doing the same thing here.
Research.
Totally research.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but his arm was so dense and massive and firm. Obviously, the muscles were firm. I'm making it sound really vulgar, but it's not. And his arm had the heftiness, like if you've ever picked up like a lead pipe or something.
Oh.
Have you ever picked up one of those gigantic wrenches that you only see like in the machinery shop?
I've never picked one up, but I've seen them.
Okay, yeah. So you go, oh, that's a wrench. That looks like any wrench. And you try to pick it up and you're like, this is like 10 times heavier than I thought it was.
Or like a dumbbell. Those are heavy too, right? I don't know. I obviously don't work out.
My point is, there are some things that look deceptively light. And then when you actually handle them, you're like, my God, there is so much mass in this thing.
So for his arm muscle, like this area right here, right? How big was it? Was it like
the diameter?
Size of like the big bulky part of the arm, was it like the size of a grapefruit?
Size of my thigh.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
But you have a skinny thigh. So like for example, like fruit or
cantaloupe. Small cantaloupe.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty big,
That's pretty big.
But the cantaloupe is light. So it's like, imagine a billiard ball or like a cannonball. There you go.
Okay. Did you squeeze it or did you just caress it lightly with your cheek?
With my cheek?
Hey.
As I was...
He's like, do you want to feel my muscles? And you're like, grazing it with your cheek.
Do you want my number? No, I was grabbing. I gave it a couple of good squeezes.
Okay.
All
and
right.
what did you say anything as you were squeezing it? And what was he doing? Was he looking like all satisfied? Like, hey, look at this. This little lady here touching my muscles.
By the way, BJ Flores is American.
Oh, he is? Okay. I'm very confused by the story. And who's who?
It's a confusing story. It's about an American boxer who are hanging out with a bunch of Brits.
I see.
Okay.
Okay. So he's American.
This is going off the tracks. Okay. But anyways, the point is, I was excited to touch his muscles because he's a professional athlete, but I was also curious. But what I was impressed at was that I have never encountered a human physical specimen like that. I mean, I'm sure if you are an athlete, you hang out with other athletes, but you don't really realize, like, I've never met a ballerina, but I'm sure if I got to see one up close, I'd be amazed at how lithe she is or how slender she is.
Sure.
Or I mean, I'm sure Tony Robbins is super tall, but you just cannot appreciate it until you see it in real life.
Well, I'm glad that you're able to see a specimen like that live and up close, and beyond just the anthropological, objectives that you had here. I mean, was part of you like, hey?
Oh yeah.
Can you swab the inside of your mouth real quick for this ancestry.com or whatever that 23andMe is?
Why? Why do I want to know what his...
For your future children, what they're going to look like? Were you planning?
And I would rather have a baby with one of those soft Silicon Valley types. I don't know why. I don't know. I just feel like they have a better future. Like, they'll be better parents. But BJ was tall and massive and whatever. I felt his arm and I said, I didn't realize how strong a human being could be. And imagine that hand
Hitting
and that arm with a cannonball strength coming at you. It's amazing. It just boggles in my mind what these boxers are doing to each other.
Yeah.
So I called my girlfriends over. I said, come here and feel his arm. Come here right now.
Oh my goodness.
Feel his arm. I was dragging them, but they wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
But it was a once in a lifetime experience.
And in the meantime, on the other side of the bar were the Asian American androgynous boys looking at their iPhones, planning for a new app. I don't know. I'm just making stereotypes now. That's cool.
Highly possible. So that was a very long.
Yay.
Girl, what you been up to?
That's very cool. You were up close and personal to a true athlete.
Yeah, and I have developed a new respect for people who are that physically strong.
Cool.
Yeah, because why do you say that? Why do you
respect? I get it.
Get it.
It's nice to be, but underneath all, he's probably a real hottie. You try to package this like it's all anthropological and it's research.
Not my type. I told you that's not what gets me excited. iPhone app builders.
That's exciting.
That's exciting. All right.
Exciting.
So, girl, what have you been up to?
Well, mine wasn't nearly as exciting as yours. Mine was more that most recently a friend of ours invited us to go to USC, University of Southern California, which is one of the most preeminent universities in the entire world.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a very infamous film and TV and theatrical department. In fact, we were able to go to two buildings. One building in the cinema department was donated by George Lucas.
Wow. Famous alumni.
Yeah, famous alumni and, of course, infamous director. And then the other side of the house was a building donated by Steven Spielberg, who, interestingly enough, never went to USC and actually was denied entry into their film department several times, more than once. He donated basically a big FU building to USC, and they said, yes, we'll take it.
They turned around and bent over backwards, and they took it.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, let us know it's done. So basically, we went and it was very, very impressive. And while we were there, we were able to see a workshop reading of a brand new musical that's being developed at USC. Music is written by a wonderful composer named Nathan Wang, who I had the pleasure of working with on a musical in LA called Imelda, but he developed the music. And it was really lovely. I mean, it's still being developed and it's got some really great components to it so far, so it's exciting to see where it's going to go. But it's neat to kind of see the early stages of a musical being developed. So if you can imagine Hamilton, right? I mean, what you see now and all of the glory that you see that Lin-Manuel Miranda is experiencing now, all of the music, all of that took years to do, and probably started off, in the kitchen table of Lin-Manuel Miranda. And then it soon became what it is today. So it was nice to see sort of the impetus of that creation and very inspiring too. So my girl, what you've been up to was, I love when I get these chances to be inspired by whatever I come across. And this was it for this week.
Wow.
Yeah.
You made me feel bad that I was lusting after a man's muscles while you were like
that way that he wasn't your type.
Was that a reveal? Did I reveal much? All right. How should I say? You cannot help but admire something, no matter whether it's your taste or not.
Yeah.
If it's
beautifully
shaped by nature.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like I love colonial houses. Yet when I went to Versailles, I thought it was gorgeous. Wouldn't want to live there.
Right. Is that your taste?
But I can appreciate it. Can appreciate it. Yeah.
That's my tagline now. I don't want to live there, but I can appreciate it. Okay, yeah, but back to Lin-Manuel Miranda. I heard he got a grant to work on Hamilton.
Did he?
For
I don't
a little
know.
while. I'm not sure.
Oh.
Maybe I'm wrong. Hamilton people, please correct us if this is wrong, but he got like some kind of government grant, so he was able to work on it for a little while.
That must have been a long time ago.
It was a lot before he.
Yeah, before all of the arts grants started going down the tubes. But what are you gonna do?
Yeah,
There's a lot we can do. 2020. Anyway.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And so that's kind of cool to see it being shaped.
Yeah.
Second of all, wait, it was George Lucas that was admitted and Steven Spielberg that was not?
That's right. And did you know, because there's actually a documentary on Steven Spielberg that's out right now. I think you can watch it on HBO or Netflix. Anyway.
What's it called?
And it's called Spielberg. And it goes into how he was able to become who he is. And he's really very much self-taught. Like all of what he was able to learn. I think they even said that he used to sneak on to the sets of Universal Studios.
Wow.
And would just like climb up the rafters and go upstairs and watch as movies were being made just so that he can learn.
Wow.
And he did that in secret for a long time. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And now he's, of course, like Jurassic Park and E.T. and all this stuff. It's all Universal Studios produced.
Yeah.
Interesting, huh?
And he has a huge amphitheater at USC.
Yeah.
Just to show them that, you know what, I'm going to be a bigger man in this scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a big part of the film school is this Lucas wing and the Spielberg wing. Big part. Yeah. It's really interesting. And they don't really admit that many people in the film school, apparently. It's really, really hard to get into. I think they only admit, I want to say 30 to 40 people a year.
Wow.
And who knows how many applicants they get.
That's true. Yeah.
I have no idea.
35.
Yeah. Yeah. 35 people. And then they have to hunt around for the other 5. No, I don't think that happens.
No, I don't think so. Oh, all right. Well, thank you so much for sharing.
Yes, you're welcome. Thank you.
For our main segment, we are going to tackle the complicated world of friendships. I value my friendships so much. But sometimes they're a bit of a sticky wicket.
Oh.
I don't know what that means. I just like the...
What is this? Okay, yeah, sticky wicket.
Sticky wicket, meaning there are some difficult or challenging situations that you get into with your friends.
Yes, absolutely.
And what do you do? Golda, what do you do?
I don't know. I'm going to ask you some questions.
I'm going to ask you as well. So today we're going to present each other with scenarios and then we are going to try our best to answer it.
Yeah, and you might find some of these scenarios ring true for you. Maybe you've been through it or maybe you're currently going through it and hopefully it might help you in some small way.
Yeah. All right. So
yes,
I'm going to throw it to you. What's your first?
Well, I think my first question is, I am a woman in my late 20s, but let's just say I'm a young woman. But as I age, I have a question about friendships and making new friends and developing friendships. And, all of these studies show that the true key to happiness in one's life is relationships, friendships, just community, right? So it's people become increasingly more important as you age. So that being said, and as you grow older, it's harder to make friends.
How do you make new friends?
Yeah. How do you make new friends once you start aging and getting older?
That's a great question.
Do you kind of hunker down and just like keep the friends that you have, or is it too late to make new friends? What do you do?
So I don't think so.
What do you think, Wanru?
Obviously, you're not going to run into people at school anymore.
Yeah.
It's been just a few years. You're like, because you're 25 and you just graduated like 3 years ago.
Yeah, I just had my first career.
You're not going to run into people as easily as you did in college. So maybe right now you'll be meeting people at work. But the key is in any situation is to put yourself out there, I think.
Okay.
And what I mean by it could be literally physically putting yourself out there, like signing up for an exercise class or joining. There's groups that they walk the Rose Bowl. Joining a walking group, or there's meetup groups for everything. So meetup.com is a website where groups of people can get together. I saw a group meeting up to practice German.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Free German lessons, things like that. So you do have to put effort to put yourself physically out there. But I would also say to extend yourself, meaning, would you like to hang out with me again? which can be a very vulnerable thing to do, right? To extend yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So if you meet someone and you strike up a conversation with them and you enjoy them, as you're leaving, do not be afraid to just say, hey, it's really nice chatting with you at this Apple store. This is a true story. My friend got her iPhone fixed at the Apple store. And as she was leaving, she goes, I had such a great time. You helped me out so much. We can't.
You want to be my friend? Do you remember how easy that was when you were kids? When you were like in school and you see somebody who's new to the school or something, new to your class, and you just go up to them and you say, do you want to be my friend? Let's be friends.
And then how would they respond?
Okay. Or,
exactly.
Let's go to the bathroom.
And it stings. It stings when they run off to the bathroom. But the point is, it's the same thing nowadays. So you, instead of saying, would you like to be my friend? You say, can we meet for coffee?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that what happens when you're in school or when you're at the university or wherever, the reason why it's so much easier to make friends when you're younger is because you're in a structured environment where you're going to be interacting with those folks day in and day out, and you have a common goal.
Yep.
Right? Then as you progress in your life and you're no longer in those structured environments, maybe except for work, right? Which is a very structured environment. But if you want to make friends outside of work, what do? You know, it's almost mimicking similar scenarios to when you were in school. But this time you have a lot more of that under your control. So to your point, if there are things that you particularly like to do, you can make friends with people who have similar interests.
Yeah.
Or similar values even. I know a lot of people who have friends that are like from their church or
Absolutely,
their, volunteering groups or whatever.
Yeah, those are two great places to meet somebody at a church or a temple or whatever your religious affiliation is, or volunteering for a cause you care about. And then you're going to find like-minded people. Yeah. But just in general, it's about the effort. It's about saying, I would like to see you again. Yeah. BJ Flores. Just kidding.
Do you want to garden volunteer?
With me, BJ.
His name is BJ.
Yeah. Benjamin. It's short for Benjamin. Golda. Anyway. Okay. So you just have to put yourself out there. You may face rejection, but if the person is like-minded and is enjoying your company, hopefully they will continue to hang out with you, and that's how you build a new friendship.
Okay, I like that. Yeah, I like that. Okay, awesome.
Okay. That kind of ties in nicely with one of my questions. Okay, which is, what if you like someone and you want to hang out with them more? Yeah. So you're the initiator. Okay. And they are just not putting as much effort into the friendship as you are. So they're being super flaky, or they show up late, or they just are generally shitty friends to you. Yeah. What do you do in that situation?
Well, I mean, I think that hopefully you'll know whether or not this person is generally just a flaky person overall, or are they just being passive aggressive and maybe they're tired of you and they're just trying to distance themselves from you. Okay. Right? Or, maybe they're just so focused on their own life that they could give, two shits about you and anybody else that's around you. In whatever case it is, I think the best approach is to be forthcoming and to be honest with how you feel about them doing that to you, and to actually let them know how you're feeling and put a mirror up to them. And who knows, maybe they didn't realize that they were doing that. Maybe they've just gotten away with that kind of behavior for so long that it's just their normal, right? But once you put it within a framework of how you feel about it and how you're hurt by it or how your life is impacted by that, right? And you're able to articulate that, hopefully, if the person is open to receiving feedback and values your friendship, then they'll do something to change their behavior or modify their behavior so that it works for everybody.
But that's so hard to do, to be so confrontational. So how would you put it in words?
Well, I had that situation happen to me before with my friend where I felt like he was very, like I was second fiddle to I would invite him to events and I wouldn't know until the very last minute, like literally within an hour, whether he would show up.
Sure, yeah.
And I constantly felt like he was waiting for something better, like a better invitation.
Yeah.
And if it didn't happen, then okay, I'll go and hang out with Golda. Versus, saying, yeah, I'm committed. This is important to you. I want to spend time with you. So I'm going to commit. This is going to happen in a month or 2 weeks or whatever the case may be. So I confronted him about that. And the way that I did that, because this person tends to be all over the place and kind of ADHD a little bit in a way.
Yeah.
I wrote him a letter.
Oh, wow.
And what I found very, very helpful in writing him this letter was that it helped me to organize my thoughts so that I can say it in a way that was true to myself and I can be articulate also. And I'm not sugarcoating it, but I'm also not being mean about it. But I wanted to speak my truth and how I was feeling. And I wanted it to be done in a way where I knew he wasn't going to be distracted by X, Y, and Z going on around him. Because that's usually what happened in speaking with my friend was as I'm talking to him eyeball to eyeball, he'd be looking around, looking on his phone, like constantly being distracted.
Wow.
Right. So a letter I found was an effective way to get his attention. And he could always go back to it and read it if he didn't, he couldn't put the attention to it at that moment. And it worked.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did your friend respond?
Well, I mean, it took him a while to respond, I think, because it's never easy to, I would, I know this and I would imagine too, to receive something like that. You're basically calling them out, right?
Yeah.
And I think that basically the way that I presented it to him was, this is my observation and this is how you're making me feel. And really, this is an opportunity for you to respond. Is there some sort of outlier situation that will explain why you're responding in this way? And then if you are going to continue in acting that way, then we really have nothing to talk about. But if you didn't know that, or if you're acknowledging, yes, I do that, and that's wrong of me to do that, and I will change, and then he does change, then that's a whole other story. So the good news is that he didn't respond right away for a very long time, but he ultimately did. And it was a very different, the friendship improved dramatically.
Amazing. That's great.
And we were able to talk about it after the fact. So sometimes it takes people time to digest. And I think you also have to look at the friendship and really gauge whether or not, is this person someone that I really want to be friends with? Or was this person somebody that I was friends with at a time that made sense? Right? So that's my short answer.
No, it was so informative.
Yeah.
And it's such a hard thing to do. And I'm so glad your outcome was good, because you can actually tell people, like, I tried this.
Yeah.
And it worked out for me.
Yeah.
It was hard, but it's improved our relationship now.
Yeah. And you really need to recognize your own value to the friendship too.
Yeah, totally.
And expect that the level of friendship will be returned.
Actually, I would probably say the whole theme about this podcast, if you take away one thing, is to respect yourself and respect your friends.
Yes.
And respect your friendship.
Absolutely.
I feel like nowadays this probably has always existed. I feel like people are in this attitude of using people for their own purposes, meaning I'm bored now. I want someone to hang out with now. I'm bummed out now. I want to go out and drink today. Who wants to drink with me? And it's very like you're using your friends to service you in that moment in the guise of friendship. But I think some people have very selfish motivations for maintaining friendships. And you can tell by their level of response and their actions toward you and how reliable they are. So if your purpose is to have friends just to service your needs, then great. Maybe you guys will have mutually, you guys mutually feel that way. But for me, I feel like friendships are about respecting each other and respecting each other's time and valuing the person. So I wouldn't do something like either A, not respond, or B, put someone on the back burner until my main plans fall through. So then using them as a back burner, because that's not respecting the person.
No, it's not.
And I respect my value enough
Yeah.
to not let someone do that to me when I see that behavior.
Absolutely.
And I said, you don't want to hang out with me? That's fine.
Mhm.
I'm not going to go.
Moving on.
Moving on.
Yeah.
Next.
Well, that actually brings us to my question for you that I was interested in getting your perspective on. And what do you do when you have friends that you've had friends for a number of years, and it seems like every time you do get together, it's no longer as interesting as it once was. Mm-hmm. Maybe you're rehashing the same stories. Maybe you're resorting to the same go-to behavior. And it's just not as interesting anymore, or as kind of, I don't know, fun anymore. What do you do when the friends that you've had for a long time no longer are, I don't know,
feeding your soul?
Yeah, or no longer that interesting, or it's become more of a chore.
Yeah.
Is that just a growing pain, or what? What
so
is
there
that?
are many different views on it, and this is again very subtle. There are subtleties to this for sure. But I would say, first of all, that as you age, Golda's young, but I'm old.
You're young.
And I've experienced many different phases of friends, and I have outgrown people, meaning that not that I'm better than them, but they've gone on one path and they have their interests, and I do not have those same interests, and so we diverged. Yeah, so that has definitely happened, and I would say this: if it's fixable, then try it. Meaning, if you have a friend who just, for example, one common problem I encounter is someone who goes over the same complaints over and over and over, whinging, as the British would say.
Whinging.
Do you like my
British
interesting
what
phrases?
Yeah.
Yeah, all they do is whinge all the time. So
interesting.
You can set a rule, which is, I'm here to support you, but let's only talk about work or your ex-husband or whatever you want to talk about for 10 minutes.
Oh.
Okay, we're going to complain as much as we want for 10 minutes, and that's it. We're not going to bring this up again. And I've had to say this to one of my friends, which is I say, I'm here to support you, but every time we talk, you talk and complain about the same people at work over and over again.
Yeah.
And would you mind, we can talk about it. Just keep it, would you mind?
Shutting your mouth door.
Which is also a very British thing to say, right?
Is it? I don't know.
Shut your mouth door. Just shut your trap about your freaking coworker.
Zip it.
Oh God.
No one wants to hear that.
No one wants to hear that. No. So you can set the limit, and actually it works remarkably. It works remarkably because people don't even know their own habits. So if you are positive, don't be like, all right, 10 minutes and that's it, because I can't stand anymore. If you go, I think it's unhealthy to dwell. Let's try this new thing. It has worked really well.
That's great.
And that may be a way to salvage the relationship.
Okay.
But in the instance where you're like, it's just not working out. This person and I are so radically different. We're diverging too much. We have nothing in common anymore. It is okay to quietly exit the friendship.
Exit stage left.
Exit stage left. Like, what's that name of that?
Pink Panther?
Oh.
Exit.
Snagglepuss.
Oh, is it Snagglepuss?
Exit stage left.
Yes.
Exactly.
That's true. So so it's possible to just outgrow friendships.
Yeah.
Really, right? It's like Beaches. Do you remember that movie Beaches?
Oh my God.
With Barbara Hershey and gosh, what's that? Oh my, Bette Midler.
Yeah.
Oh my God. How can I not remember Bette Midler?
Oh my God.
And remember, like, they were so tight when they were younger, and then they became successful in their own right. Like, Barbara Hershey's character became a really successful lawyer, and she's kind of hoity-toity, classy. And then Bette Midler became a really successful musical artist. And the biggest riff in their friendship was they were no longer had anything to talk about because they were so occupied in their own lives.
Yeah.
Right. But then they were able to come together after some time also.
Yeah.
So do you think that there are friendships where maybe you just needed, as Ross from Friends says, just take a break?
Take a break.
I mean, has that ever happened to you, or has anyone ever said, I'm really not that interested in your life as much anymore. Can we just take a little break until some interesting shit happens to you? We can talk about it in like 5 years. I mean, is that unrealistic to ask for? Is that kind of offensive, maybe?
I personally have never experienced that.
Me either.
Right?
I'm just thinking of this idea.
It's romantic. That's why they made it into a movie. But I've never witnessed somebody or two friends or a group of friends who grew apart and then later through self-development and self-realization and a hit musical then reunited together.
Yeah.
I've rarely seen that, but
that's too bad because it's so hard, especially as you get older. It's so hard making friends that now that I think back at when I was younger and how like I was just like, nope, I don't like that. And then just dismissive I was, it's like a little bit of me is like, maybe I shouldn't have been so harsh about that.
Yeah, and I actually have the last technique in regards to this question of what do you do when you outgrow your friends or you just don't have anything in common anymore is I actually do something, and I know my friends listen to this, so I don't want to feel like any of you fall into this category. But, you have some friends that might be like, they're my hobby friends, right? I just go for them for hobbies. I have my friends who I just eat dinner and watch movies with them. And I have friends who I can spill my guts to, right? I have friends who I can cry in front of. They're friends who I laugh with. They're friends I can joke with. And each person has their own strengths and weaknesses. So with some friends, especially some of my older friends who I value deeply because of our history, and we definitely have different interests now. Yeah, I still value them for what they can provide, and I accept their limitations. And even if I don't connect with them as deeply as I would like to, I still enjoy them for what they can offer. And I just try to be a good and supportive friend to them.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
nice.
Just to give you a little example, I have a couple friends who are very Christian. And I used to go to church, but I no longer do. But it doesn't mean that I think they're terrible people. They probably think I'm a terrible person because I don't go to church.
I can't imagine anybody thinking that of you.
Maybe I'm a heathen. I admit it. But I touched that man's arm. I'm a heathen. Anyway,
you're going to hell in a handbasket, woman.
I'm hanging on to the tree branch all the way. Okay, all right. So, I accept them as they are, and I know they're going to say some things that probably I disagree with. But I also know they're amazing people and truly, authentically good people. And I enjoy their company, so I can still be friends with them.
Okay, got it. Okay. So do you think that there are like inner circle and then the periphery friends? Yeah. And that there's there's different layers of different types of friends, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And what you're willing to share, what you're willing to do with them.
Yeah, totally.
And some groups can be upgraded.
What does that mean?
Meaning to say that maybe you had friends that were like on the periphery. That you were the people you'd go, to movies with or to the bar with or whatever. And then, maybe they prove to you that, we actually have a lot more in common. Yeah. Right. And then they get upgraded to maybe inner circle friend.
Yeah. To like people you'd take trips with.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. So that can happen too.
And a piece of advice related to this is I would say, put as much effort into people as they put into you. Doesn't mean that you should put little effort. Meaning if there's someone you really enjoy and they don't put effort into you, don't overdo it, right? Because they're clearly not reciprocating. Yeah. But if there's somebody you enjoy and they're putting a little more effort, go ahead. Why don't you top that and see what happens? And you guys can begin to build on that relationship. But I think one of the biggest pains that happens in friendships is the expectations are different between the two people, and when those expectations are not communicated or are not met, it can be painful. And that's where it causes conflicts.
Yeah, I had a friend once who was like VIP with the whole how to be a good friend.
What does that mean?
Like over the top. Oh. Over the top, great friend. Like, this is the anniversary when we did that project together. And remember, this is the time that you and I went to that movie and then we were totally laughing.
Did they put and then all these things in their calendar?
Yeah. And it's like, oh my God, this is exhausting. Or I made you this your birthday present. It only took me 5 months to make it.
Oh my God, Golda.
I mean, So I get it where it's like put the effort in, but sometimes there are those extremes, right? Of people who might be a little bit too. It's kind of like that movie Bridesmaids. Do you remember for the Kristen Wiig movie, Melissa McCarthy?
Yeah.
And the woman who's getting married, played by Maya Rudolph, her boss's wife is in her bridal party, played by Rose McGowan or Rose Byrne. And then her longtime friend, who doesn't have a lot of money, Kristen Wiig, is her maid of honor. And then the Rose Byrne lady is like over the top trying to be a good friend. So she makes the invitation to the engagement party and like butterflies and shit are flying out of the self-made box that Rose Byrne created versus, something more simple. So I think that there's also those who are like TH, as I like to call them, trying hard, a little bit trying hard going on there.
Trying hard.
And no matter what you do, it's almost like they're setting you up for not meeting their expectations. Right? So, I mean, I think there's definitely a caveat to this whole like put the effort in.
Okay.
Just don't break the bank or don't make the other person feel like a loser that they can't meet that level of intensity.
Right. See, Golda only knows the viewpoint of the person who's the recipient of all the adulation and the 5-month gifts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it can be awkward to be put in that position. But I think personally, it can be painful and awkward to extend yourself and then not have that level of reciprocation back.
Yeah.
Like, where's my gift?
5-month-old gift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So for both parties, it is actually better to not put effort, but not exceeding what that person is doing to you.
Yeah.
Because for some people, this may be totally normal, that level of friendship. So for those people, you can go ahead and go all out, right? But if the person's not reciprocating your gift, then don't do it. Just save you guys the pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that was helpful.
Yeah.
Thank you. So wait, so who are you in this situation?
Oh, I was in this situation.
So you were the lead of Bridesmaid, Maya Rudolph.
I was Maya Rudolph. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So my next question for you is, this is taking a little bit of a left turn here.
Uh-oh.
What do you do when someone is clearly doing something harmful to themselves, meaning one of your friends?
Oh, like what?
Like they could be dating a guy that's totally wrong for them.
Ooh.
Like a former cruiserweight boxer.
Okay. Or I see. What do you do? Like,
or drinking too much, smoking too much marijuana, where you think it's like, well, I think it's actually becoming detrimental. Or bad personal habits where they keep revisiting the same like negative thoughts over and over again.
So are you saying what do you do with this friend or
how would you what actions do you take when you have a friend where you think they're harming themselves?
I think that if you are a good friend, you need to communicate the tough messages to your friends.
No, I'm terrible at this.
You have to.
I'm terrible. I'm terrible. That's why I ask, because it's so hard.
Your imperative as the friend is that no harm should come to your friend. Or you try and minimize the harm to your friend.
Can't you just let them do it and just be like, I told you so?
No, you have to tell them.
I told you not to date that guy. That guy's a loser. I told you. Lame.
I mean, there are ways to do it. So it's
Golda is so tactful. She's very tactful with her words. I sway between not saying anything and then
he's a loser. Bye. Shut the door.
In my mind, the internal dialogue is, what are you thinking? But outside, I just keep shut. So I struggle with that. So help me.
I think that, for example, it depends on the situation. But to your first example, it was if they're dating someone that's not the best person for them.
Okay, yeah. Let's use that example.
Yeah. You might want to, in your next meeting or conversation with your friend, maybe take them to brunch or lunch or whatever. And then just say, how are things going with so-and-so?
Oh my God, he's the best.
Oh.
I'm going to Vegas every single weekend to see him.
Really?
Yeah.
And are you seeing anybody else?
No, I'm just seeing him. Yeah, just seeing BJ.
What?
Just keep going with this BJ.
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
And what is it about him that you like so much?
Yeah, he's really strong and he's really muscular and he's tall.
How's it going with online dating though?
No, I don't date anymore.
Oh, you really should. You know what? I saw a coupon on Groupon. I can get it for you. It'll be really easy for me to do, and you can just peruse, just kind of browse around.
You're just saying these things because you're jealous. Because I'm dating a guy who was a former I can't even say former boxer, and who has like a career in commentating. And I'm going to like all these boxing matches. I think you're just jealous.
Oh, well, I think you're right. I think I am jealous. So, okay. Dump the friend. Just kidding. No, I would say that in those conversations, just say, well, I wouldn't have put you and him together because, you seem like the type of person that really loves Silicon Valley and you love science. And I don't know him very well, but do you guys talk about stuff like that at all?
No, not really. This makes me happy, Golda. Don't you want me to be happy?
I absolutely want you to be happy. I will say I can't see it because I feel like you deserve somebody better. But if this makes you happy for the time being, then I wish you all the best. But I just wanted to let you know that I see you with somebody a little bit more science focused, a little bit more
softer hands.
Yeah, softer hands, a little bit less. Yeah, little maybe a little less muscular.
So this is you did a great job, Golda.
Yeah,
I was giving you a hard time.
But whatever. If you're in it, you're in it. But as your friend, I just wanted to, in case you have a blind spot, I wanted to tell you.
Wow, that was good. That was firm.
You know what I mean?
That was firm, but
I wish you all the
positive.
best.
Nice.
It's not like I'm trying to be fatalistic, like, oh, this is doom and gloom. This is relationships going down the tubes.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think that you need to give them a heads up in case they're not aware. Right? You're not telling them. You're not holding them captive.
Okay, let's do a technique that I learned from you.
Okay.
Okay, so now you're going to be the person with the bad habit, and I'm going to guide you through a questions exercise.
Oh,
because this is a technique you taught me.
Yes.
Okay, so what's your scenario?
My
you're
scenario
doing something that's
is
harming yourself.
My scenario is that I drink too much alcohol.
Okay, great.
Have you seen that happen with your friends? And you're like, uh-oh.
All right,
have that drink.
Let's pretend Golda has had a bunch of drinks.
Oh, I feel so good.
Hey, Golda, you might want to. I think this is it. I think we should cut it off for the night.
Huh?
Yeah, I think we're good, right? Let's head home. Let's cut off the drinks.
Wanru. That's a great name. Wanru. Sounds like a whale's cry. Wanru.
Okay, maybe you shouldn't approach them when they're in that exact state.
Okay.
You gotta pick a time. This is good. This is why we
let's
role play.
pretend that I'm like
it's the next day and you're hungover.
Yeah,
you're hungover. Okay, you're hungover the next day.
Oh man, I feel horrible.
Oh yeah? Why?
Yeah. Would you like a Bloody Mary?
No, thank you. Usually when I'm hungover, drinking more alcohol makes me feel worse.
Oh,
does it make you feel worse?
No, I don't think so. What can I do you for this morning, Wanru?
So Golda, I noticed that you drank a lot last night.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
It was fun, wasn't it? The party was fun.
Have you been drinking a little more recently?
I don't think so. It's the same that I always do.
Oh, okay.
So great seeing everybody last night, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I just wish you had a chance to talk to everybody. You were passed out on the ground in a pile of your own vomit.
Was I?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I thought that I just fell down on the lawn and they just watered it or something.
That's why your head is all wet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's embarrassing.
Oh, well. So for me as a friend, it's really painful to see you in that situation.
Oh,
see you
really?
passed out on the ground with the vomit stuck to the side of your head. I was really worried about you.
Oh, that's nice. I'm okay. Everything's fine.
Yeah? You're feeling good about everything?
Yeah, everything's good.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing to worry about. Everything's good with me.
Well, if you ever need me, like if you feel like you drunk too much and you need a ride, let me know because I hate for something bad to happen to you.
Oh, that's so nice. I'm going to get rid of all this beer in my refrigerator. And scene.
Wow.
I loved your approach.
How did you like that? How'd you like that?
It was really good. It was very gentle.
Oh, see, this
and
is
very
me.
caring.
I'm very passive.
No,
I'm
very caring though. It comes from a place of love and concern.
right.
It wasn't judgy. It wasn't, like school marmy. Like you are stupid.
Yeah,
It wasn't like that.
and you know what I observed in this interaction? Although this is just a role play,
yeah,
Golda's defenses started melting away
yeah,
because she's like, "I'm having fun. I'm having fun," and I go, "Oh, but I worry about you." Oh, I know what I'm doing. I'm not drunk.
yeah,
Oh, but I care about you, and I'm concerned. Oh. Right? I saw your defenses melting away.
Good technique.
Because you're a
Good
person with a good
technique.
heart, and I think most of our friends actually, like you would probably be friends with somebody who has a good heart, but just is not aware of their behavior.
Yeah, I think that probably most people just aren't aware.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a good role of the friend is to make sure that they understand.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think to coach it in
Hopefully.
a way which is like, I care about you, and that's why I'm concerned. Make it more about the way you feel about them. Like when you do this, it makes me feel worried, concerned, nervous, sad.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
And what do you do once you've had that conversation? Let's say you've had it several times and the behavior still continues. Then what do you do?
Then you slowly step away, back away.
Grab your hat and your coat, your purse. Squeeze the doorknob open a little bit. Slowly open it. Back away from the body. Yes. So what you're saying is then you start distancing yourself because what you're saying isn't landing.
Exactly. And I would also say you can only help those who want to help themselves, right? So
yeah, unfortunately, I've had friends in the past too who had some very destructive behavior.
Yeah.
And even though I'm a fairly, I tend to want to talk to people about stuff. Mm-hmm. It didn't work. And the behavior continued. And I made a decision for myself at that point. It became a situation where I had to ask myself the question, is this person adding value to my life?
Wow.
And the answer was a resounding no.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't spend more time just babysitting this person and them not helping themselves. I think in the beginning it's fine to try and be as patient and all of that with them as possible. But if they're not helping themselves, no amount of work you do is going to help.
Yeah,
at least
that's
in my experience.
Yeah. And again, that goes back to put as much effort as they are putting into you because there's a limit of how much you can give.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, good. So that was helpful. Thanks for helping me work through that scenario.
Absolutely. And now I have one last that might be a little bit tricky trick. And that is
sticky wicket.
A sticky wicket. And that is, what do you do when you have two friends that you interact with separately, and then you bring those two friends together, and then those two friends end up being really, really good friends and end up doing stuff without you?
Aww. Is this based on any personal experience of yours?
I've had every friendship experience.
Oh, no.
I feel like, yes, but I'm lucky because I've got fantastic friends today.
That's so true. That's so true.
It took a lot of toads, boy. A lot of friendship toads. To get to that point where, you feel good about your tribe, right? So what do you do in a situation where you have two friends who separately, and then they get together, and then now they're doing stuff without you?
It's painful. Yeah. It's painful to be in that position. I can't say I've had that exact situation, but I do know what it means to be excluded from people's plans.
Yeah.
Being excluded from people's plans, or you see two people getting much closer than you are with them. And it's painful, but the only suggestion I can make is that there are going to be people out there who will want to include you and who will want to make that connection with you, and who are going to put in as much effort as you will, so that when you give them your handcrafted letter that you made from parchment that you collected from
papyrus,
ancient Egyptian papyrus that you remolded into a note paper. Not that I ever did anything like that. I'm just saying, like that would be a cool gift. But once you find someone who can give you that type of friendship back,
Mm.
it will be more meaningful. So obviously these two people, or let's say that it's a group of people, are connecting and they don't feel that with you.
Mm-hmm.
It's painful, but the only thing you can do is to move on and say, of course you can try to reach out and hang out with them and in a really positive way. Don't be negative, like, are you guys doing things without me? But just saying, oh, I wish I could see more of the two of you. I see you two are doing that activity. I would love to join next time. And sometimes it's as simple as they meant to include you, but they forgot. So we tell ourselves
Several times.
20 times in a row. But no, sometimes it is just a simple mistake. It really is. We tell these stories to ourselves, but sometimes it's very straightforward. It happens all the time. And
miscommunication or misunderstanding, right?
Totally. And if that's not the case, then it's painful, but you have to accept it and say, all right, I need to find somebody who wants to include me in their plans. And isn't it better to put your energy into that type of person?
See, so
then trying to weasel back into the relationship of the people that don't want to be with you.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could take kind of an Oprah-esque, because Oprah's our deity here, but like in terms of if that happens, in the past, I've gone up to the individuals and said, hey, I've noticed that there's a change in our friendship. Is there anything that I've done to offend you, or is maybe you're at a different place? I just need to understand what's happening, instead of just kind of traipsing and doing your own thing and nobody communicates, right? Because who knows? Maybe there was a misunderstanding. Maybe there was a look that you gave, or who knows? It could have been misunderstood, and that kind of just snowballed into something else. So I think it's an opportunity to clear up any possible misunderstandings, and at least you could have the peace of mind to say to yourself, I tried to communicate. If there were any misunderstandings, at least we can get that out of the way.
True, yeah.
But if it truly is just like, I just don't like you anymore, or whatever, or I like this other person a lot more than you because it's more fun, or whatever, as hurtful as that may be, at least and this could be an opportunity for you to grow.
Yeah.
As an individual. And also to play devil's advocate, it might be you. Meaning to say, you might be a little shit. and no one has the courage to say anything, or they don't want to hurt your feelings or whatever. But boy, what a gift that is, right? If someone, that's why I'm saying, like, as a friend, if you truly are the person's friend and you want to salvage that friendship, you should tell them, this is your behavior is making me feel like this.
Yeah.
Because they might not realize it. And the next thing you know, they've been ghosted. Right? By you.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's,
it's over a small misunderstanding.
Yeah.
So I guess what I've taken away is that friendships are hard.
Yeah.
But they're worthwhile.
Yeah.
And it's about putting in good effort, respecting yourself, respecting others.
Yes.
But also communication, and just try hard.
Yeah.
TH.
No, not too hard to be a freak show. Yes. But be respectful, be kind, and I think you'll recognize your soul sisters and your soul brothers when you meet with them. And if you want to be along for the ride, then that's really ultimately your decision, what your tolerance is like for that.
True.
But as long as you keep that open line of communication, I think that the success of that friendship will be a lot higher if you communicate.
Yeah. Great advice. Great advice.
Yay. Our next segment is called Girl, You Got To, or we talk about organizations or tips and tricks, life hacks that we have done ourselves that we wanted to share with you. So, Wanru, what is your girl you got to?
By the way, we doubled up on our girls today, didn't we?
We did. This is a girl heavy. This is a girl heavy episode.
Okay, so mine is not actually a tangible thing. Like, girl, you got to get your oil changed or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, this is more of a philosophical thing.
Oh.
And I feel like it's the theme of this podcast, which is, girl, you got to not be afraid to look stupid.
Oh.
Is that a double negative? Girl, you got to not be afraid to look stupid.
Yes. So, girl, you got to look stupid? Is that what you want? Is that what you want to say? Girl, you got to look stupid.
You got to look dumb all the time.
Don't let people catch on that you smart. You got to look stupid. That's not what you're saying.
No.
Okay, what do you please expand.
I'm trying to say that sometimes you have to take a risk and put yourself out there, like asking someone to be your friend. That's being vulnerable.
Yeah, sure is.
And we don't want to do that because we don't want to look stupid, right? Or approaching your friend and saying, hey, I noticed, Golda, you've been hanging a lot with Liz recently. Where was my TFTI?
Aww.
You know? And putting yourself out there and saying, I feel kind of like I got left out. You know, and these are all instances where you're putting yourself out there and you may feel stupid doing it, right? Or you may feel stupid for approaching a group of British men saying, do you have an accent? What a stupid question to ask. But it led to a nice conversation.
Yeah, you never know, right?
You never know. And
yeah,
I actually think that for anybody to get to the next level in whatever they're doing. So now I'm going to the larger philosophical realm. There is a small period where you will look awkward. So I think for like dancers and singers and musicians, didn't we talk about this?
Yeah.
There is a point where you're pushing yourself a little bit, right? Where you're straining your voice or, you know, you're playing that note and you're kind of like, you know, kind of
you're not
pushing.
looking too good. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not looking so good.
You're not looking so good.
You're not looking so
It's
good.
okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah, but then how do you get to that next stage? How do you elevate yourself to the next stage? It's by not being afraid to look stupid.
I think it's so freeing when you can get to that stage where you feel like you can just do whatever and who cares. I remember when I was at UCLA and I was taking a drama class, one of the best exercises that we did in class, I remember to this day, that really exemplified what it was like to sort of put yourself out there and look stupid, was a version of Pied Piper. So we were a class of about 12 individuals, and UCLA is a university in California that's huge. Like all of the stereotypical university settings that you see on TV and film looks like this.
Okay.
The brick, the
Ivy.
the Ivy, totally, like, and it's huge. It's a huge campus. So this Pied Piper exercise was, we all got into a line, and whoever was in the front of the line, we had to go outside of the classroom and go all around the campus.
Oh my God, that's embarrassing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we had to mimic exactly what the person at the front of the line was doing, right? Whatever it was. So whether it was, we couldn't be in situations that created danger for anybody,
Right.
but if they were like waving their hands, up in the air, or they were singing a Christmas song, or if they were, whistling, we had to do exactly what they were doing. And then we had to totally exaggerate what they were doing. So if they were like, raising their hands up like this, we would have to be like, wow, wow, wow.
You
We
have
had
to, you have to own
big.
it. You have to own it.
And you have to make it big. And we did this. So every person had a chance to be the Pied Piper. And it was one of the most freeing things because there was safety in numbers where
Sure.
you can be, kind of crazy and silly, and people were laughing, and it was one of the most exhilarating exercises in being vulnerable and playing.
How cool.
And and being free and acting silly that I've ever had to this day. And I still remember that. So when I think about, especially as an artist, you think about how you have to free fall sometimes. Not everything is within your control, just free fall and play. I think about that, about, looking silly.
How cool.
Yeah. Making
cool.
mistakes.
The funny thing is, and we talk about this all the time because Golda and I both have taken acting lessons and we are in the acting community here in LA, which is that when the audience sees someone who's self-assured, they relax.
Yeah.
And the reason why people get embarrassed for you or start to mock you if you are doing something stupid is because you feel uncomfortable doing it.
Right. You're self-conscious.
You're self-conscious and you're insecure. And if you own it and you are able to just open yourself and say, I'm going to try something a little risky, a little out of the box, but I'm comfortable with looking stupid and I'll actually call it out myself, people will relax so much and they won't even think you're stupid anymore. And I'm just thinking about myself at work because I say all kinds of weird things and I'm outlandish and, you know, I do kind of quirky things, definitely very quirky things at work. And I get away with it because I'm totally comfortable doing it. And if someone says that was silly, I'll say it was very silly. I own up to it. But I'm so comfortable in my own skin that nobody thinks it's awkward or embarrassing. Like they don't feel embarrassed for me. So I don't feel embarrassed myself. Yeah, it's part of that comfortability you have, right? And now, like, I'm not saying this is the pinnacle of human existence, but let's say I had an awkward encounter approaching those men at a bar. I would probably learn from it, and next time I'd probably be better at it. Now I think I could do that very easily. I couldn't have done that when I was 18. I was very self-conscious when I was 18, but now I can do it because I've worked my way up to it.
Yeah.
I've tried to push myself a little bit into the uncomfortable zone.
Yeah.
So that's why I think it's worthwhile, because if you keep pushing yourself into the uncomfortable zone, it'll all be your comfort zone eventually. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that that's how you know you're growing, right? Is when you're in uncomfortable situations.
Yeah.
If you never feel any kind of discomfort, you're probably stagnating.
Is BJ Flores at home going, I just had the most uncomfortable situation.
There's this chimpanzee woman that's just hanging from my arm.
This middle-aged woman was telling everyone to grab me, treat me like a piece of meat. But you know what? I loved it. He loved it.
He totally
Dude,
loved
he's eating it up, man. Come on. All right. So that's my girl.
That's
you
great.
Got to. What's your girl?
I love that. Well, mine is not as philosophical. And mine is actually...
Me and Golda are just like two different wavelengths today.
No,
it's like every time I go low, she goes high, right? And then she goes high. I mean, we're like
We're
Trump.
yin yang here.
Yin yang.
Yin yang.
I was going to say Trump and Michelle Obama, but no. Yin yang. Yin yang is better. Yin yang.
Yin yang. Okay. So mine is actually dovetailing off of our favorite things episode a little bit.
Aww.
And when I think about, as we are in the Christmas season here, the holiday season here,
yes.
Just to kind of add a little bit more to that conversation. One thing that I read, that I was looking through, like catalogs of different things. My girl, you got to get stuff engraved or monogrammed.
What?
Yes. Do you remember that show Laverne and Shirley?
Yeah.
And remember Laverne? It was about those two women who worked at a brewery in Minnesota.
Yes.
Schatz Brewery. And Laverne, who was one of the main characters, used to put an L, big L, on all of her dresses and blouses.
I think the intro of the show went tomato,
Shamil, Shamazel, Hash and Kappa Incorporated, something like that.
Capricorn and Sagittarius.
Dun, 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 dun.
I don't
We're
remember.
Gonna do it. Anyway, such a great song. Such a great song.
I'm getting so into it. But sorry, go ahead.
But get something monogrammed for yourself, or get something monogrammed for as a nice little gift, like a small little thing for a friend or family member. Isn't that nice? It's so lovely. I had on one of my purses here, I had my initials monogrammed, and it brings a smile to my face every time I look at that monogram. And small things like little hand towels, like as a hostess gift or Christmas gift or a birthday gift or something like that. Or if you're going to get a new grad, luggage or a watch or something, get a little engraved, with a little inscription or something. Personalize it a little bit more.
Yeah.
I think there's something really special about having something engraved or something with your initials on it. I think that's really lovely to do for yourself and also to do for someone else.
Yeah.
I think that brings it over the top a little bit. So that's my girl. You got to a little less philosophical, a little bit more shallow. But I like engraving. That's kind
Yeah.
of cool. It's a
Yeah.
lost art. I don't see a lot of engraved stuff except on monuments. But you can do it on small things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I have a couple of cups actually with my like a W on it.
Aw, see?
And I enjoy that cup, and it's yours.
Yeah. Do you remember Sex and the City? The main character, Carrie?
Yeah.
And for a number of years there, she started this trend where it was
Yes.
those gold necklaces that said Carrie on it.
Yes.
I love that. I think that's so cool. I think we should bring that back.
Do you have a nameplate necklace?
No, I don't.
Okay, girl.
Hi, Bob. Anyway, that's my girl you got to.
All right. That's actually a really fun one for this time of year. So this is the end of the friendship episode.
Oh, I thought you said you were going to say this is the end of the friendship. I'm like, are you going to try to tell me something?
Man, I left her hanging there, didn't I?
We have to go through this whole episode?
I have something to tell you.
I have an announcement to make.
You have a harmful behavior of over monogramming all the things in your house, Golda.
I can't take it.
How many more monograms do you need? As a friend, I care about you.
I can't think of myself hanging out with any boxers in my future. This friendship will have to end.
No, I was going to say this is the end of our friendships episode.
I see. Different than what I thought.
I shouldn't have left that pause in
Yeah,
there.
that was a very, yes.
This is the end of our
Could have
friendship.
been telling episode.
But like the end of the year where you have to sign the yearbook with a little BFF, best friends forever, or a little note.
KIT.
KIT, keep in touch. What would you sign in my yearbook? So what do you remember about this episode?
What I remember about this episode is something that rings very true for me. And that is when you said that one of the things that you need to keep in mind if you're going to be a good friend or a great friend is that you have to respect each other.
Wow.
You really do. I think it sounds really simple, but it's really very basic.
It's hard. It's a hard thing
It's
to
hard.
get a grasp of, right?
Because I think that we tend to, for people who love us, it's easy to take them for granted or think that they will always be there for you.
Yeah.
But that's not the case. You have to really nurture those friendships, those relationships. So, and respect is the most basic block of that or foundation to that. So that's what I'm going to take away. What about you?
Oh, that's so nice. That's so nice. I'm going to take away because I'm very passive and I just want to sneak away. That's why I always wear soft-soled shoes. So that I can just bag.
And gloves. You don't leave prints behind.
Exactly. I just put on my ninja outfit and I'm out through the chimney of this friendship. No, but really, sometimes you have to do the hard thing. And you have to say something you really don't want to say, even if it makes you uncomfortable for the benefit of the relationship.
Yeah.
And actually, sometimes you can work through problems.
Yeah.
By just manning up, womaning up.
Womaning up. Yeah, I will say that in the friendships that I've had in the past where I have been, communicative or confrontational, the ones that didn't survive for a reason.
Wow.
After the confrontation. The ones that did survive are still my friends to this day. So there's a reason why people stick around, even though it's a hard conversation to have, if they stick around even after that hard conversation, you've just strengthened that relationship.
Yeah.
But if they walk away from that difficult conversation and they hate you or they're like, how dare you or whatever, then maybe that's not the friendship that's right for you for now.
And lastly, I want to say that friendships can nourish you.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I have been bolstered and strengthened and learned so much and been challenged by my friends.
Yeah.
And it's one of the most worthwhile things to put your energy into. But on the other hand, bad friendships can drain you.
Yeah.
And they can cause you to get sick. They may enable you in bad ways. So be very selective about who you call a friend.
Right. Absolutely.
And I hope our friendship will end never.
Oh.
I was trying to do it again. Did you feel nervous at all?
Nah. No, I'm very appreciative of my friendship with you, Wanru.
Aw.
I was thinking about a famous friendship through the years of Lucy and Ethel.
Aw.
I was remembering their friendship, and I was remembering specifically an episode that they had where Lucy thought that everybody forgot her birthday.
Oh my God.
And so she befriended these random people in the park, and they were an organization called Friends of the Friendless. Do you remember this episode?
Not at all, no.
Oh, okay. Check it out. I'm sure it's on YouTube or like Nickelodeon or something. But Friends of the Friendless. So yes, we are each other's Lucy and Ethel.
Yeah.
Gayle and Oprah Stedman combo.
Wait, so between Lucy and Ethel, who's who?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, on the count of 3, you know I love this game.
Yes.
You're going to say who you are.
Sure.
Wait, hold on. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Fred.
Ricky Ricardo. Yes.
See? We're on the same
wavelength.
Same wavelength.
I am so Ricky Ricardo.
I'm so Fred Mertz. Where's my rent? I'm Fred Mertz. I don't know how he is.
So if you have listened to this whole podcast, thank you so much. You
Thank
made it to the
you.
end. Oh my God,
Yay.
it touches our hearts.
Sure does. Thank you so much for joining us on today's episode. And we are in the holiday time frame here. So happy holidays to you and yours. If you haven't done so already, we'd love it if you give us a shout in terms of a rating or ranking or comment. Review us. We'd love that. Subscribe to us on YouTube or any podcast provider that we are a part of. And we are part of every podcast provider out there, like YouTube. Oh no, like Spotify and Apple Podcasts, etc. Stitcher, Overcast. We'd love to hear from you and have you subscribe that way. Every time we have a new episode, you'll automatically have a download ready for you.
Yeah.
Isn't that something?
And if you want to keep up with us, we are on Facebook and Instagram as well. You can also email us at theganru@gmail.com. We love to hear from you. We are always looking for story ideas that you think are interesting. So drop us a line and you might be highlighted in a whole episode.
Yeah, absolutely. We love hearing from you. And until then, we will see you very soon next week. I'm Golda.
And I'm Wanru.
And this has been The Ganru Show. Bye.